Welcome to Your Productivity Pulse with Michelle Ocherek-Deo, a space where we get honest about what it really takes to build a business and a life you love. One conversation, one strategy, and one intentional decision at a time. So this is a bonus episode, and before I dive in, I wanted to explain why this was so important for me to record before our regular Tuesday release. In the upcoming 25th episode, I have an incredible guest joining me, Kim Roth, a tech and automation specialist, and she is going to walk us through what it looks like to streamline your business and improve your productivity using technology that actually works for you. I was so excited to share that conversation with you, but before the interview is released, I felt like I needed to give you a little context, because if I'm going to have someone come on and talk about automation and systems and all the things that can come with leaning into technology, then I think it is only fair that I show up first and tell you exactly where I am standing right now on that stage. I can definitely tell you I'm not front and center, but I am standing somewhere off stage waiting for my cue to enter stage right. I am right there in the messy, exciting, slightly uncomfortable middle of a technology pivot that honestly has left me both shaking my head and taking a deep breath at the same time. Here's something about me that you may already know, or maybe you're just finding out. I grew up in a small business household. My dad ran his business from home, and that telephone was a sacred tool. One phone, no answering machines, no automated anything. You were either there to pick it up or you missed the call, and that was that. And somewhere in that upbringing, I absorbed something really specific about how a business is supposed to feel. Tangible. Personal, hands-on. You write things down. You keep a daybook. You do it yourself because that is how it gets done right. And I carried that with me for a long time, and it truly served me well until it didn't, and I found myself lagging behind in some business practices, holding on to the way my father taught me how to do some things and not allowing some newer concepts to replace the old. Now, I want to share with you something that actually made me feel a whole lot better about where I am in my process. I wanted to find out how other small businesses were faring in this technically changing world, and found the results from a small business and technology survey which was published in June of 2025 by the NFIB, the National Federation of Independent Businesses. And what I found in there stopped me in my tracks, in the best possible way, of course. It turns out that small businesses with 1 to 9 employees, and yes, that is me, are taking significantly more time to implement new technologies than larger counterparts. And the reasons cited were not laziness or resistance. They were real specific concerns about upfront costs, lack of internal resources, and not having a dedicated person whose job it is to figure out on-site technology. Taking extra time to figure it all out is not a character flaw. That is just the reality of running a small business without a team of people behind you catching everything that might fall. And here's what reading those survey results did for me. It made me feel less alone. So please feel free to check out the link in the show notes and read the survey results yourself. It's super interesting. Because I think a lot of us who are running smaller operations have been quietly looking around at everyone else who seems to have it all automated and integrated and running like a beautiful, well-oiled machine, and we have been wondering, what is wrong with us? And the answer, according to actual research, is nothing. We are not behind. We are navigating something genuinely harder with genuinely few resources, and we are doing it on our own and in our own time. And because I love a good reveal, I wanted to share my current learning curve with you about adding a piece of technology into my business and personal life. I mentioned briefly in an earlier episode that I was married to my paper planner and had tried and failed to integrate a digital calendar into my life last year. I set it up, I had the best intentions, but with several double-booked and missed appointments, the whole thing fell apart very quickly, and I went right back to my paper daybook and told myself that maybe digital just wasn't for me. About 4 weeks ago, something shifted. I was on a call with a business colleague, and she walked me through how she's been using her Google Calendar for years, color-coded, connected, completely paperless in that part of her life. As I sat there watching her share her screen, all I could think was, wait, this is not as complicated as I thought. I just needed someone to show me how to do it at my own speed. I was calm, I was curious, I was ready. And that made all the difference. So I committed to a proper trial. And 4 weeks in, I have to say, I genuinely love it. I just went through my first full billing cycle using the digital calendar as part of my referencing for creating my billing sheet. And yes, there were a few blips along the way, and there are some pieces I'm still working out. But here's what I can tell you. The actual booking process, the ease of it, the way it transitioned into my business day, that was seamless. And I also started adding personal events onto the calendar, and that has really been amazing too, just so I can get a full picture of what's happening in my life and being able to book between my personal events and my business events on the calendar. Because when something fits into your life, instead of fighting against it, you keep showing up for it, and in that ease, you save time. You can actually create new openings, new gifts of time to do some of the deep work that I've been talking about. And further to the success with the calendar, that momentum gave me the courage and motivation to go back into one of my other programs and connect my booking app and Zoom to my Google Calendar. And suddenly, without me doing a single thing extra, an automatic Zoom link was being generated and sent out to my next podcast before I even had to think about it. Yes, I know some of you have been doing this for some time, but this is for all of you out there who have been hesitating. And even if it's not this piece of technology, there's got to be one thing out there that you've been avoiding for one reason or another. But I have to say, as I stood there looking at my inbox thinking, oh, this is what people mean when they talk about getting time back by implementing automation and AI. I was pretty excited. So when I tell you that I have started integrating AI in a practical, co-working kind of way into my business and my life, I may be just at the beginning of my journey, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Not behind, not scrambling to catch up, right here, taking the next step as it presents itself. And that feels really good. Now, the question I'm still sitting with right now, and maybe you're sitting with a version of it too, is not whether to use technology. That ship has sailed and I am on it. The question is, how much automation do we actually want to integrate into our business model? And I'll be honest with you, I'm back and forth on the AI email creation part. It sure makes things easier, but is this a place where easier is better? That's a question that we all need to figure out for ourselves. All I know is there are things in my business that are mine to do, and no well-trained AI agent can replace that. The personal touch is not something I'm willing to completely automate away, and knowing that actually makes the rest of the decisions easier, because when you're clear on what you're protecting, you can be a lot more open about what you are willing to let go of. I guess time will just tell. But what I do know is that in about 6 months, I'm going to come back here and give you an honest update. Where I was, what I tried, and what worked and what did not. Because that's what we do here. We do not just talk about shiny versions of productivity. We talk about the real version, the one that includes the learning curve and the small wins and losses, and the moments where you realize you are further along than you thought. I love those moments. So before Kim joins us on Tuesday, I want you to sit down with one question, just one. Is there a piece of your business or your life, something you're still doing manually, something that takes up more time and mental space than it probably should? Maybe that's the first place to start, a small shift. Not an overhaul, just one thing. Write it down. Bring it with you when you tune in on June the 16th, because Kim is going to give you a lot to think about, and I want you walking in already curious about where that first step might land for you. You are not behind. You are right where you're supposed to be, just like me. Until next time, keep listening to your pulse.